Hey, do you ever feel unsure if your kiddo's IEP or eligibility meeting is actually going to reflect what they need? Today, I'm going to help you understand how decisions are made, recognize ways to be fully involved, and make sure that your kiddo's supports are based on their individual needs, strengths, and interests, okay? Schools often provide IEP drafts in advance, okay? This is not predetermination. That's a common misconception. And sometimes you'll hear schools say that too. It's just not the case. It actually is a way to help parents meaningfully participate in their kiddo's IEP process, right? And this matters a lot because you have time to review, to note your questions, you can suggest changes, and this really does help the meeting become more collaborative between families and schools. And I'm just going to iterate here that IEP meetings are typically scheduled for an hour. That is never enough time, especially if we haven't prepared beforehand, right? There's a lot to cover. So having that parent input statement sent in beforehand to the school, asking for that draft and reviewing, listing all of your questions, bringing in your observations and your data, that is really going to help get the most out of this meeting. Okay, so when it comes to predetermination, what to watch for, some red flags. Draft decisions provided in advance. That's just not a draft IEP. That's things that might be included like service hours and placement decisions. So they're not suggestions, they're presenting more as decisions, okay? Parent input isn't discussed. You provided your parent input statement. The school says they've considered it and they filed it, but you guys don't talk about it. Placement options feel limited. Meetings feel rushed, okay? Schools can suggest, and their input is incredibly meaningful, obviously. Yours is equally important, if not more so, in helping to decide what is right for your kiddo. Bring your expertise to the table of your child, right? Bring supporting evidence. This can be therapy notes. This can be data from home. Data doesn't need to be fancy charts or anything like that. It can literally be notes on a post-it notes. It can be something you say into a voice memo. It could be, you're in the car and you ask your daughter to read a text to you and she really struggled with that. Note that. That's data, okay? And take your time before agreeing to the IEP. You don't need to rush through an IEP and then just sign right there. It should be expected that you're going to review it and just make sure that, all of your questions have been answered and everything's clear. And additionally, consider private evaluations if needed. You know your child best, and your voice is going to shape the plan. Bottom line, predetermination does happen sometimes. However, there are red flags, signs to look for that we can spot. There are ways for us to be proactive in trying to ensure that predetermination doesn't become an issue in our kiddo's IEP process, right? Ask questions, ask for drafts in advance, send in that parent input statement and make it thorough. Take data, even if it's just simple observations at home in whatever format, that counts, okay? And in doing all of this, we are stopping predetermination and we are encouraging an IEP that is based on your kiddo's strengths, needs, and interests. If you're not sure how to handle your kiddo's IEP meeting or eligibility meeting, whatever, comment below or shoot me an email and I'll give you some strategies that help to protect your kiddo's supports, and we'll get you equipped and ready. Thanks, guys.